And really the entire team at RS Davis have developed a strong working relationship with our code enforcement officer, Rich Estes. I don't know if Rich is in here right at this moment, but
Probably towing the commissioner's car for a parking spot.
they've consistently provided invaluable support in our efforts to address public nuisances. And their assistance has been crucial in the successful abatement of numerous violations, including the towing and dismantling of junk and abandoned vehicles. And without their dedicated help, many of these projects would not have been possible. So this time, I would like to recognize the representatives from RS Davis to come forward and receive a certificate of appreciation on behalf of Umatilla County and in appreciation for their exceptional service and partnership with the county. Go with the commissioners, that would be great.
Probably just won't with the chair.
Come on, commissioners.
I know.
Over here.
Photo of all of you there.
Chair, get over there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I feel, now the other gentleman isn't here.
1, 2, get one more.
Are there
Thank
other
you.
members of your team here?
Well, he's trying to find a place to park the tow truck.
Okay,
So
well,
we do have Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer.
we need to,
Come on up.
think we got what we need to.
Rich will take that phone.
We'll get one more photo with you here.
I got you.
He takes good photos.
Just might-
He does.
You just might not get it back. You can't be trusted.
okay.
Thank you. Nice job. Thanks, Jenna.
Thank you.
Any other awards, recognitions, or correspondence? Dan?
None for me. Thank you.
Approval of minutes from the previous meeting, January 2nd, 2025, and January 15th, 20.
Approval of the minutes for January 2nd and January 15th, both of 2025.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Additions to the agenda. Do we have any? Public input and recognition of visitors. Okay, we'll go right into the business items. District Attorney Conference.
Yeah, he was gonna be here to present, but he's on a tight schedule, so I'm not sure when she'll.
Let me start with BL.
Can we come back to that? BLM update.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Sarah Sherman. I'm the field manager for the Baker Field Office, Vail District, Bureau Land Management.
I'm Eric Scow, I'm the new assistant field manager.
Thank you for having us on the agenda for a quick update. I will be hopefully very brief, but I open any questions that you all have for me at the end. I want to start by acknowledging that it's pretty cold. I'm welcoming and embracing that cold because that was a hot summer. The summer, for the record, as you guys know, with almost 650,000 acres of eastern Michigan being consumed by wildfire this year. So,
Heard something about that.
yes, right? So about the half, 366,000 of that was Bureau of Land Management. On a 10-year average, we see about 115,000 acres burnt. So this year was 10 acres, or that 10-year combined average at that amount. So thank you for all of your support. I didn't get to see you on your fires out here. As an agency administrator, I was pretty heavily involved with Durkee and the Badlands Complex over in Baker County. So I'll take that as a good thing that you didn't have to see me too much this summer. But acknowledging that it was a very taxing season for everybody. I'm sure you were probably more involved with the Forest Service and the Prime Bill. But if you need anything in the coming fire season, let me know. Hopefully I'll be more qualified than I was this summer. So also just, again, thanking the counties for their involvement in a wildland season. I appreciated the commissioners that I got to work with. Having your input in our liaison officer meetings, our cooperating agency meetings is invaluable. So continue to do that and know that we really value that input during a chaotic season. And thank you. If you have any rangeland fire protection agencies or groups that help, at least again in Baker County, was invaluable having folks out on the for our out. Any questions on the wildland fire aspect?
I do, Sarah.
Yes, please.
What's the plan at the BLM level? What's the plan to start managing those forests?
Start managing the forest, right? So we on the Baker side, we've got limited timber resources. So for forest management specifically, we do salvage post-fire, but we're also looking to do more timber sales, at least in Lookout Mountain for now. So if there are other areas of interest that you want us to look at, please get that information to me. Again, just timber harvesting is a very viable option for making sure when wildfires come in, they're more visible. Because again, what we saw in Baker and the Badlands complex, the timber resources aren't super healthy. We've got mistletoe and infestations of other diseases. So when the teams came out and asked what are the valuable resources, we quickly said grazing and range because the timber resources wouldn't appreciate very high. They weren't, no need to risk life over those resources. But again, if you have specific areas you want us to look in.
I guess my question, Sarah, is kind of a universal one.
Yes.
It's not just the timber, it's the fuel that's on the ground that we see. It doesn't matter if it's the Walla Walla or the upper portions of the South Fork. We can visibly see the difference between privately managed, BLM managed, Forest Service managed, Oregon forests. I mean, we have those very
Yes,
yeah,
yes, right.
they are stratified, and we can see the difference. And so, what is, kind of in general, and it's a new administration, so you guys are going to have all different kinds of new directions and new goals and strategic plans. I get that, but that underfuel is just.
Right.
It's amazing.
Fuel loads were huge. Then they were burning so hot and heavy as we saw this summer. So we generally work with tri-counties, Wallowa County and Baker County for weeds assistance. So going out and treating invasive and non-native grasses. There's more to be said for our emergency stabilization and rehab plans that we have. Again, mostly focusing on the fires that burnt through Baker and treating those areas so we don't see the fuel we do. Like I said, if there's areas of concern that you have for BLM, please.
I don't know if you've ever met our emergency manager, Sage DeLong. He is in the back of the room, so that's timely.
Yeah, that would be great.
If you guys could get together, that'd be great. Sage probably spent, I'm not going to exaggerate, so I'm only going to say probably 7 days with no sleep at the start of the fires. Every morning I showed up, even past that, he was there for a long time. So he probably has as much intimate knowledge of mostly Forest Service, but also the BLM. Because don't forget, we have rangeland. We have in Umatilla County, we have BLM forest, BLM rangeland, on wildlands. And so we run into, and again, they're stratified. And so response and everything else is really lands on his shoulder more than any other agency at all to put this together. So that would be my really
Please,
biggest
yeah.
ask is that you spend a few minutes with Sage and at least have great contact information so that moving forward, you guys will know who else is on the other end of it. That's my only ask.
Yes, please, Tim.
Thanks, sir. And welcome to
Welcome. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, I should have said I started back in June, so I've been on about 6 or 7 months. Eric started a month ago.
Yeah.
where'd you come from, Eric?
From Northern Utah, and I was working in Phoenix before this with the BLM, so big jump.
What part of, or what part of the BLM on the,
Down in Phoenix,
yeah, like the borough replacement or
oh, that was recreation.
recreation? Okay.
I do have a few more other updates that Dan might take of interest, if that's okay.
Sure.
So the South Fork of the Walla Walla ACE management plan. Still getting through chapters
Good
1
start.
and 2.
That you did good, but you should have never brought that up.
Well, I do have updated reports fresh off the press. I don't think you've seen them yet. Hopefully they'll be sent out to you, but I have paper copies with timelines for some of our projects you might take of interest. That one I know is near and dear to Dan's heart. And that's where we met him on the cooperating agencies.
You got a plan that's near and dear to all three of our
Yeah.
hearts.
Perfect. That's great. No, I'm very happy to hear that. So hopefully we'll have something in the next month or two to share with the cooperating for review. Do you have any other questions?
Nope, I just saw that come through.
Great. I will bring these around and I'll get to Sage, but thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me know if you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. District Attorney Conference.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for seeing us here today, or seeing me here today. I am here to request the approval for some expenses for our child abuse conference. The expenses are essentially for speaker and food expenditures. We have a projected cost of $53,000 to $75,000. I know that you folks manage money, and so to you that you're probably thinking that is quite a gap. But the reason we are asking for that large of a span is because we don't yet know what our attendance will be. So if we have 100 attendees, we will have to pay less for food. If we have 200 attendees, which is kind of our maximum at Wild Horse right now, we're going to be closer to that $75,000 figure. We just opened up registration yesterday. We already have 7 people who have signed up, so that's a very good start for us. I think I've spoken to all of you at our conference, but this is our 3rd year back. We are super excited.
What's the name of the conference again?
It's the now John. It is the George Murdoch Eastern Oregon Regional Child Abuse Conference. But obviously, although Commissioner Murdoch's name is in the title, you, the commissioners, have always been integral in supporting this conference. As I said last year when I appeared before you, I recognize that you could have said no last year or the year before. It is sort of an audacious and ambitious project. It does take resources, obviously, as far as the DA's office, but it really is a fantastic conference. And I say that not just because I help run it, but because I have heard our attendees say that a prosecutor told me that this was the only conference she'd ever been to where she learned something from every single session. We've had people, all of our reviews from last year were positive. They want to come back. This year, we hope we're bringing as good a program as we did last year. We're bringing in Dr. Joe Sullivan from Ireland, which was a request from law enforcement. And he's going to spend a day talking about interview techniques.
we're bringing in Kelsey McKay from Texas, former prosecutor who's going to talk about strangulation, investigating strangulation cases where they're made to look like accidents. We have doctors from Portland coming in to talk about medical neglect, which I've seen recently in my caseload quite a bit. And those are hard cases to prove because the medical jargon sometimes gets in the way of understanding the crime that was committed, and those are significant crimes as well. And we also have speakers coming in from back east to discuss specifically dealing with our LGBTQ plus community, which I think is significant as far as addressing the diversity in our region. So I'm very excited and very proud of our little conference. And I do hope that you will approve our expenditures. We are also actively working on sponsorship, so we're not just relying on carryover, although we did have carryover from last year. We have just received a sponsorship from the Umatilla Police Department, and last year we had a number of sponsors, so those letters are going out this week as well. So we are definitely trying to maintain sustainability because we believe this conference is so important. And the reason we started the conference, of course, was because there used to be a significant child abuse conference in Clackamas, which was an international conference. And then that quit during COVID. I came home, recognized there was no conference, and we started our own. And while Clackamas has started again, it's nothing like it was. And quite frankly, and again, not to toot Umatilla County's horn, but it is not like our conference. And so I
Toot
do.
away, that's right.
You know I will do it. I think that there is still a need for this conference, and as long as there's a need, I am hopeful that the commissioners will, and as long as our office is able to do it, you know, with personnel shortages and everything else. But as long as there's still a need, the commissioners will allow us to do it, and we can physically do it. I just feel like we have an obligation to present this information and to make sure that we are working to protect kids. I have said consistently, it is unfair of us to get upset at law enforcement for not doing the job we want them to do if we can't train them to do that job. So if we want good results from our officers, we have got to bring good training to them. And this, quite frankly, is some of the best you're going to get, I think. And again, I think if you were to ask any of our attendees, they would agree. We are bringing in the same speakers that are speaking at in Dallas, that are speaking in California at the big conferences. We are bringing them here and they are presenting that information. So that's pretty wonderful. Anyway, if you have questions, I am happy to answer them.
I'm going to ask for John on the golf tournament. When can he sign up?
Well, if you want to sign up for our conference, there's a sign sheet already, and I think otherwise you can go to Guardian Care. But it's not at Wild Horse this year. We couldn't get it in. It's at Birch Creek, which I guess is state management, but that's where it's going to be.
Amazing conference. What you guys have done with it. Yeah, like John said, toot away. It's a kind of conference that gets talked about all year long. So it's amazing.
And I do say, and this is sincere, thank you all for your support, because obviously if you had said no at any time, it couldn't have happened. I feel very fortunate to work in Umatilla County with commissioners who have been so kind to my office, but also have been willing to see the importance of what we do and what this conference is, because it is not just about Umatilla County, it's about all counties. But I think I said this last year, the issue is that the person who offends in Union County often makes his way down here. When I first started, I got to know the Washington County DA because we had a person who offended in Milton Freewater and then went to Washington County and offended in the same way. It doesn't stop unless we stop it. And so I really do think that that protecting kids in one area really protects kids in all areas. And beyond that, I do believe that this is an issue that crosses borders, that we can't just stay complacent and say, well, it's not happening here, so not our issue, right? Like, we have a responsibility throughout the state, especially since, as I said, we can do it and we have been doing it very well. So I just appreciate your support and your willingness to kind of allow us to do this, to make some mistakes, to figure out what works and what doesn't, because we're still young. We're still trying to figure out how to best do things. But it's been a trip and it's been a fun one. And I think more importantly, it's been a valuable one to our law enforcement community. I just want to thank you guys very much.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you guys setting the bar high for the rest of the state. So, and it does not go unnoticed. I hear it from other commissioners throughout the state, so must be doing something right, so.
Thank you. That is a gift. Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer, for sharing that. I'll take it upstairs. They'll be so happy to know.
My hat's off to you. And the things that you deal with, and we're talking about kids here. I mean, you really want to wrap your mind around what you're doing, and it just makes you sick to your stomach. And so, thank you. I mean, thank you for doing this. And so, any more discussion?
I'd make a motion to approve this conference, even though it is widespread from 53,000 to 75,000. In reality, we're supporting a conference that we never would have to have. So,
That is true. Yes.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
aye.
All right, motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much. I
you.
appreciate it.
Good seeing you.
Yeah.
Dan, that Commissioner Doran, that was very well put. Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to sponsor that kind of thing? Okay, Community Corrections Vehicle.
Morning, Commissioners. Dale Primmer, Community Corrections. Continuation of me being here probably for the last few years. Just some backstory. In 2006, we replaced all of our vehicles at once through that drug trafficking area designations. We were able to get vehicles cheap at the time. So all of our PO cars with cages and transportabilities all were purchased at once, so they all seem to be aging out at once. Over the last few years, I've been coming in and just trying to pick those off a little at a time. So that's what I'm doing today, is I'm looking to replace two of our cage cars, two 2006 Chevy Impalas for two Dodge Durangos that are large enough to facilitate the cages, and as well as 4 of my officers that are north of 6'5", that capes and little cars like that don't work as well. We're purchasing through the Enterprise Fleet Management, and the quote that I got through our finance department for the two is $97,484.60.
I know the answer to this, but general fund dollars.
No, that's it. Gets to the timing of this. It's been in our plan for a while, but I wanted to see where we ended in our year-end contingency, and were we spending below our budgeted amount and growing our contingency amount. So by spending this revenue, it'll be about back to a zero base where I anticipated them being. So we've been able to, just through efficiencies and savings throughout the year, to grow our contingency to the point where I can spend this money and get these vehicles and not really impact our budget in any way as a group. And if everything comes through in July, like I hope, I'll be back for 2 more, and that should complete cycling through.
Madam Chair, I'd move approval for the county to approve the purchase of 2 Dodge Durangos from the Enterprise Fleet Program in the amount of $97,484.66.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you.
Thanks, Dale.
Sheriff Office payment.
Good morning, Commissioners and everyone. This is a request to renew our annual subscription for Lexipol, which is encompasses our policy manual as well as our daily training bulletins. I think we've had these since about 2015, and there's a reoccurring cost of about $8,000 to renew both of those products. They're instrumental in helping us develop policy, have our persons trained in current policies. They're also instrumental in helping us achieve our accreditation. We're in the process of that now. And many of the policies are tied directly to the standards for the accreditation. So again, it's an annual expense. We're requesting $8,118.13, please.
Sheriff Littlefield, I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, it's been moved.
I'll second it. And I know about those daily training groups. They're good information.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion?
Any questions?
Hey, great program, everything you walked me through over the years, and I know that even the county's looking at taking it along, so.
I highly recommend Lexipol as a company and as a product. Their customer service is second to none. We've had great luck with them. They will, they're tied to legislation, so anytime there's a legislative update, they will suggest a policy update as well. So keeps us current with what's happening in the legislature, and so it's been really helpful for our agency to be, be a professional organization.
It's predictable, it's preventable.
Absolutely. John knows Gordon Graham very well. He's the founder of Lexipol, yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim, are you doing the next one?
Yes. Contract.
What's before the board is authorize a contract with Community Counseling Services. This is for services to implement the grant that was received for opioid disorder treatment. This will be in the jail. The board has been in discussions with CCS regarding plans for this. And so this is for formal approval of the contract with CCS.
I move to approve the contract for CCS to provide the services and authorize signing of the letter of support.
We have a motion. Second.
I'll second and make the comment that I really appreciate not just the sheriff's personnel, Doug, but also CCS being involved with all the conversations surrounding them. I think it's a win-win at this point.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion pass. Harris Park fees.
Morning, Commissioners. Tom Fellows, Public Works Director. I'm not here to buy equipment today.
Did you get that on the record, Kelsey?
So what we brought before the board is a proposal to raise our camping fees up at the park. Normally, this fee increase would come at the change in the budget year in July, but due to the fact that our camping season runs from April 1 through October 31, it would be extremely difficult for us to raise fees in the middle of the season. We put our heads together and brought this before the board. Essentially, we're wanting to raise all of our camping fees, our overnight fees, by $5. So our campsites would go from $30 to $35, and the cabins would go from $45 to $50 a night. We're simply trying to raise just a little bit more revenue for some plans that we have for this next season and moving forward.
Any questions? Comments?
We're supposed to be in public hearing?
Yeah,
Not yet.
I think this is.
Thank you. We will now move in, we'll now move into a public hearing. If there's anybody that would like to make a comment on this, please come to the podium. We'll ask you to state your name and then rest for the record. Anyone online? Moving back out of public hearing, back into our regular meeting. This is to reading, Doug. This is the first reading.
Yes, it is. And the proposed date for the second one is the second board meeting.
Oh,
Okay, thank you. Great, something else?
Just need to set
Okay, we'll set the second reading for the second board meeting in February, which is, what's the date on that?
February 19th.
February 19th. Okay, thank you.
so moved.
Oh,
Second.
all right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dan Lanai, Director of Administrative Services. And before you is a pinky for wiring of the classroom in the new Fair OSU building there. So we're building a classroom for the OSU extension, and we need to wire that. They have quite a lengthy amount of wiring for all the different things they want to use the classroom for. We went out and received 3 bids, one from Shellco Electric, one from Copper Creek Electric, and one from Double S Electric. Copper Creek Electric was the lowest bidder for $7,750, and that's what we recommend moving forward.
I can't say enough about the new bid forms. Makes it so much easier.
They're clean.
I would move for approval.
It's been moved and seconded. I do have a comment. Always makes me a little bit nervous when a bidder leaves that much money on the table. But I have a feeling that maybe the higher bid really did want the project. And I know that Marty highly recommends Copper Creek.
They laid everything out real well. They're the ones that provided the drawing and did everything, so they know what they're getting into.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
The next item before you is also for the Fair Building, and it is to install aluminum staircase in the back area, the storage area there, where behind the meeting room, to access the, in a sense, second level of storage, the mezzanine there. And so they will install it, so we want to go with something along that line, so it's done properly because of safety and everything there. A note too is as we are building the other classroom, we enclosed the hallway there and expanded that storage area by probably 1.5 times more, so we have quite a bit of storage.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I just wanted to comment on that also. Very impressive how that turned out. There is a lot of storage. And so just, more added space. And I know Claire will probably very much appreciate it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Motion passed.
Thank you, Commissioners. And then the last one is, hold on 1 second. So this one's for the courthouse here. And it is when we replaced the air handlers in the building, the HVAC system, the building was built around everything. So they actually had to tear out the ceilings in the hallways behind, in the courtrooms between the jury room and the judges' quarters there. They've been actually left open for the last year or so because we haven't actually had time to do that. But this is to replace those in courtroom 1 and 2, fix those ceilings there. Everything was tore out, so the studs, all the trusses and everything were out. So it all has to be rebuilt. So this is from nerve construction to replace everything, sheet rocket, and paint it for $6,400.
Move for approval?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Motion passed.
All right. Thank you, Commissioners.
Elections payable.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Cragen, Supervisor of Elections and Records. Before you is an account payable for our vote tally system, our machines. It's the maintenance and software license and agreement for 1 year. Starting March 1st of this year and going to February 28th next year. In $262.53. Approval.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Motion passed. Thank you. Okay, planning rule comments.
Morning again, Bob Walder, Community Development Director. Staff has prepared a comment letter to be submitted to the Land Conservation and Development Commission, LCDC, regarding Eastern Oregon solar rulemaking, which was initiated in 2024 as part of House Bill 3409. And this rulemaking process is focused on establishing regulations for the siting of photovoltaic solar generating facilities in Eastern Oregon, considering various factors such as development, natural and cultural resources, and community needs. While Umatilla County does not have direct representation on the Rulemaking Advisory Committee, or RAC, staff has actively participated in RAC meetings. The county's comment letter expresses concerns about the proposed rule changes, specifically highlighting the potential for an increased permitting burden on Eastern Oregon counties and the requirement for counties to opt out of the proposed rule changes rather than offering the opportunity or option to opt in should the local community desire to participate. Umatilla County believes that participation in the rule should be voluntary for counties that wish to engage with the new regulation. Additionally, the letter raises concerns about agricultural mitigation requirements and the absence of provisions addressing battery storage associated with solar projects. And we seek your approval to submit this comment letter to LCDC on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. I believe legal counsel has reviewed the letter and has prepared it for you.
Any comments, questions?
A million comments, but I'm not going to say them, but I am going to emphatically move to endorse this letter and to have it sent to the DLCD and the RAC. Everybody else will read it. Since nobody will, I'll stop there.
I just have a comment. I did a little research on this. Solar panels with agriculture, trying to blend them in together on good farmland, and all the innovative ways they're trying to come up with just to put these solar panels in. And somebody mentioned something about battery storage, same thing. You're right. I mean, you could go down a whole road on this one. So, very, very interesting. And thank you for being so proactive.
Thanks, Bob.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pass.
Did you?
Emergency Management Grant Agreement.
Morning, Commissioners. Sage Long, Emergency Manager of Umatilla County. Before you is a contract grant agreement from the Oregon Department of Emergency Management for the use of emergency response equipment, specifically snowcat grant agreement before you to review for your approval. The requested action is to accept the grant, use of equipment, and authorize the chair to sign.
Long and arduous, and I'm glad Jim's here because he's been involved in this For a lot of years too. Congratulations. And I look forward to Umatilla County receiving this. I think it's going to be a critical piece of infrastructure, not just for us, but for the region itself. And I know that at least as far as snowcats go, I think there's only 2 counties that received them this year, Hood River and Umatilla. So congratulations. I would move for approval of the acceptance of the grant.
Been moved and seconded. Any more comments?
Do we also need to have the authorized chair to sign that, or is that implied?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thanks, Ed.
Motion passed. Hospital Authority Board appointment.
What's before the board is the appointments to the Hospital Facility Authority Board. There were 2 resignations and also 2 terms have expired. And so they're looking to reappoint 2 new individuals and reappoint the others. Stephanie Gentry and Brian are the 2 proposed new members.
Are there any comments or questions?
Do we need to renew my?
If it's on there.
It's on that.
If it's on there.
Oh, okay.
So I would move to adopt order BCC 2025-006.
Okay. Second. Been moved and seconded. Any more comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The CBP board appointment.
This is also for another appointment on the Adams Community Benefit Plan Board. There were a number of terms that have expired, and 1 new appointee to fill a vacancy that's proper to Vanderveer. And so before the board is to reappoint the 3 and then appoint the 1 new one.
Yeah.
I can't say thanks enough to Graham and Jeff for their dedication to this board, to say the least. I move for approval.
Been moved and seconded. Any other comment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Health 2024 grant.
This is to approve the grant for the Helix Enhancement Launch Program. This is for last year's contribution that was received. We just now have the minutes and with the proposed order to approve the grants to the City of Helix and the Helix School District to 2024.
Does this include the, mine doesn't, does that include the half?
Well,
That's the next one.
yeah, that's the next one. This does include $25,000.
So at this point, even though I am on that committee, I'm going to use myself because it's the folks that are involved with one of the grant recipients.
With that, then I will move to approve grants and adopt order BCC 2025-0.
One second. Any more comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Health 2025 grant.
Okay, this is to follow up the board's decision from the last meeting to provide funding to the Helix City Hall and Library improvements. Funds for the $40,000 was approved. It's been identified to come from for the 2025.
Move to approve the grant and adopt order BCC 2025-010.
Okay, and I will second. Any more comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Board grant payments.
Okay, this is a request to for the 2 annual contributions that are made by the county to the in this case, the Walla Walla Watershed Council and the Soil and Water Conservation District, each in the amount of $10,000. These payments have been budgeted and It's just been around since so long. We got the board meeting.
Before this goes any further down the rabbit hole, I'll move for approval.
Thank
I'll
you.
second, and I do have a comment. Walla Walla, I've said this many times, Walla Walla Basin Watershed Council, everything they put their hands on, they just do a great job. And so, I'm certainly glad to support them. And I'm sure that you can probably say the same about the other, but I've been on a lot of their projects and they're just super. So it's been moved and seconded. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Is that for both of them or just Walla? Both, okay.
Board meetings.
This is to request that the board meetings in March be rescheduled, both move back a week. So the March 5th to the March 12th and the March 19th to March 20th.
I have a question. Before we get rolling. Can we, that March 12th meeting, does that have to be at 9 o'clock in the morning?
No,
Can we move that in the afternoon? The March 12th meeting, does that work? For everyone?
I guess it is 12 o'clock, it's one us for day.
30-ish.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe 1:30. Super. We can make that change. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Fair payable.
Like, you want me to do that? Sure. Mine doesn't come up. Oh, this is the 4% for the Umatilla County Livestock Committee who actually perform the youth livestock sale during the Umatilla County Fair in conjunction with the Umatilla County Fair Board. It's an agreement that's been in place for several years. It used to be 3%. It has gone to 4%. Different items that get purchased with this, they help with the jackpot animals. They also pay for judges, additional pins, panels, and pig cloth and other items that come up during the sale or for the sale. So I would move for approval of payment of $62,539.77 to the Livestock Commission. The one thing I do want to point out, this is when I say a 4% commission, this is a 4% commission on the youth livestock sale. So as the sale has grown over the years, the Livestock Committee has had additional funding for these different items and projects that they take on. Be a widely successful program. So I would move for approval.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
The next item is a board payable. This is for the board to review and approve the county contributions towards the lobbying costs that the city of Pendleton has. And this is for fiscal year 2024-25. So we're right in the middle of the year for it. And the requested amount is $12,000, which is the same as the last year.
I'd move approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I do have a question. Can we have a little bit of background information on this?
So, I can do it if you want me to. So for years and years, Pendleton and this part of the county was getting absolutely goose egged every time we go to the state legislature. So, at that time, it was Commissioner Murdoch, the city of Pendleton, DMCC and ESD all kind of formed this group, and then attached to that was getting a lobbyist. And after we got the lobbyist, we got the jail remodel done. We were able to get the funding for the crime lab to stay here in Pendleton, Eastern Oregon, along with several other things, but it's paid off in spades.
It is, okay. All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 It's been so successful, and Hermiston started doing things that need to be.
Budget transfers.
Morning, Commissioners. Robert Paul, CFO, Umatilla County. This morning, there are 2 budget transfers to consider. I will review them. Budget Order 2025-24, the Stimulus Reserve Program requires a budget transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires a decrease in materials and services of $2 million and an increase in capital outlay of $2 million. And Budget Order 2025-25, the Software Reserve Program requires a budget transfer to appropriate funding not known at the adoption of the budget. This requires an increase in capital outlay of $500,000 and a decrease in contingency of $500,000.
I move that we adopt Budget Order 2025-24.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. I move approval of Budget Order 2025-25.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Compensation Review Committee.
It's time for the county to prepare for the elected officials compensation review. With that, we generally appoint a committee. The 3 members of last year's committee are willing to serve again, pending your confirmation and approval of that.
And I'd move adoption of Order BCC 2025-007.
It's been moved and seconded. I do have a question. How often are these rotated out?
It varies quite a little bit, but generally speaking, they're eligible.
Oh, 6 years. Okay.
One will be turned back.
Thank you. All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's. Are there any ending comments?
I have done.
Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned.